Hello, everybody. As always, thank you so very much for watching. This is something to think about on the American Doofus channel. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the share, hit that notification bell so you'll know when we're going to be on. And we do have a lot to think about today. So let's get right to it. We've got everything from the 1776 Restoration Movement, who is on the Mall at the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., to an awareness raising event for John Fitzgerald Johnson, otherwise known as Grandmaster Jay, which is also going to be in the D.C. area. So a lot to cover, and let's get to it. What exactly is the 1776 Restoration Movement? Is it a cult similar to what Jim Jones did as a preacher? Is it a cult similar to what David Koresh did as a preacher? It's something to think about. Cultish, cult-like. Again, we just give you things to think about. We don't tell you what to think or how to think. Is it a group of Nazis? There's a character that they call Raptor, that every time I see him, for some reason, I think of this guy from the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark. Or is it merely the Trailer Park Boys go to Washington, D.C.? Is it D, all of the above? Is it E, none of the above? Is it a front for an attempt to finish what they started at January 6th? Something to think about. This is Brian Wykoff, Wykoff Media. The reason we begin by asking the questions we've asked is because early this morning, Brian Wykoff, who is a 1776 streamer, was assaulted by a member of his own group, a group that is about freedom, and yet they were trying to control the freedom of Brian Wykoff to simply live stream and try to earn himself some money. This is the result. Again, the video has been taken down. I don't know I don't know if it's being used as evidence. There was someone taken into custody. The person that committed the assault was taken into custody. We don't know at this time what the outcome of that arrest was, but we cannot see the events because the videos have been taken down. Again, I'm assuming it's because it's being used as evidence, but here we get the result. This is a few hours after it happened. And let's see if I can get this to, okay, I've got to do this and then go to this, and hopefully you will see the screenshot that was grabbed after the fact. Blood coming down from the two cuts on his eye. What actually happened, he had been videotaping, he had been not videotaping, but he had been live streaming. And he and his wife, Nikki, had gone to an area to try to get some food. They were met there at that area by a defender of ants and a friend of his in their vehicle. They were confronted about why they were still supporting a group that harbors pedophiles. That's the main complaint against the 1776 movement from those on the right, and that's who the people that are confronting them, for the most part, are fellow patriots. Now we've done an episode on the devaluation of the word patriot the devaluation of the meaning of the flag and the devaluation of Christianity by this particular group and by other groups like them. And actually, we'll have a link at the end of this, so so you can take a look for yourself as to and think for, you know, decide for yourself what may be actually happening. So again, here's the aftermath. He was holding his phone in a holder in a tripod, and the guy either swung at him or hit with an open hand. Don't know. Couldn't analyze the video because it was taken down, but the result was the tripod was broken, and the camera went crashing to the ground. We watched it live, and then the blood started to flow. So just to add a little bit more to the story of the Wykoffs, after all of this happened, they pulled their vehicle away from where the group was to go get gas. And when they came back, their place in the group had been taken by other vehicles, and they had to move down. They were awoken this morning by park police, who it is assumed were notified by the 1776 movement, their fellow patriots, that the Wykoffs had moved down an area, and they were in an area where people weren't allowed to camp. Nobody's allowed to camp. All right, they're sleeping in their cars. It's becoming obvious that the Wykoffs are being scapegoated at best, and are being targeted at the worst. So, as always, we'll keep an eye on everything that is going on out there. We mentioned Defender of Ants. DOA is Defender of Ants, and here's just a little clip of what happened when he happened to be at the same gas station as one of the 1776 enforcers, a man that goes by X-Ray.
Stalk us? You want to stalk the big kids? Crackhead. What's up? Come here. Where you going, boy? You want to stalk us? You want to stalk the big kids?
So Defender of Ants has been going around passing out a flyer that that basically shows the charges and the guilty plea from a member of the 1776 movement who happens to be from Indiana, from Muncie, Indiana, and the charges are from Grant County, Indiana. And Defender of Ants has been passing out this flyer notifying people that indeed they were harboring pedophiles, and not only harboring them, but giving them access to children. So it's a soap opera, but with incredible, dangerous, possible connotations. And that's why we're keeping an eye on it. That's why we're starting out featuring it in today's episode. With other things to think about, floods in Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky has just been hammered by rain, as many parts of the country have. East of the Mississippi, west of the Mississippi, droughts are going on. Wildfires are happening, and the weather turmoil may have some explanations. It may not all be nature. Mankind may have some impact on what's actually going on. And is it possible that other countries are targeting us with this weather? And are we targeting other countries? Something to think about and something to talk about coming up here in just a couple of moments. I just want to give you an actual look at some of the footage that has been captured in Eastern Kentucky. just a few hundred miles south of where I am right now. And we've gotten just the right amount of rain. Everything is green and lush in the area I happen to be in, which is a blessing when you see footage like this. And again, this is not showing the water raging. This is a day or so after, where the water is just moving and taking anything and everything with it, including, as we see, buildings and power lines. So if you're a praying person, send some prayer towards those in Eastern Kentucky, the Appalachian areas, and other areas of our country where flooding is an impact. And let's not forget our friends in the West, where drought and incredible heat still leads the way when it comes to weather. One of the reasons that people watch this show is because we tell you things way ahead of when you're going to hear them otherwise. And people that like to know things in advance, watch our program. And I thank you all for doing so. A few months back, Chris was on here, and he was telling us what Russia was doing to Africa. And again, I'm saying it's been a few months we've had this knowledge. The mainstream media is just now catching up. Mainstream is just now reporting what Chris was telling us on here months ago, that Russia is indeed plundering not only the Sudan, but other areas of Africa, as we will probably hear on the mainstream in the future. And the Russian impact in Africa, in areas such as Mali, Sudan. Chris was telling us about all this, and here it is. We talked about the weather, and we have discussed we've discussed on here HAARP, HAARP, our government's attempt to control the weather. We've talked about Russians' secret weapons. China has technology they're trying to utilize where they can control the weather. And we've been talking about it a lot. Our government hasn't officially really come out and said that it's a possibility until now. And an official notification from NOAA on weather modification. Now, it's hidden all the way down here at the bottom, but let's see if we can't get this to where y'all can see it. Using lasers or other sources of electromagnetic radiation. It's an activity that could modify the weather. We've been talking about this for a few months. Now the government is officially saying, yes, it is indeed a possibility, and it gives us just another thing to think about as we've been talking about all these things. And remember, we said, we say this quite often, you know, we'll say something and somebody will say, well, it's just a conspiracy theory. It is a conspiracy theory until 6 months down the road when it is proven fact. Okay, we've been talking about solar flares and the potential damage from the sun. And again, let's hop back over here. Lasers are other sources of electromagnetic radiation. The sun is the strongest source of electromagnetic radiation. And again, we talk about it a lot. Another mainstream or a mainstream source is finally starting to catch on. The flare itself wasn't disruptive, but it indicates that a source of more flares could be slowly rotating toward our planet. The flare that they're talking about is coming up right here in just a couple of seconds. And it gives us a real good look. Okay, hold on. Right here is where the solar flare is going to come out of. You're going to get an idea from this angle why we pay so much attention to this. When you see what actually happens. Now, the burst that's going to come out, up here is not directed at us. Here is the actual size of the Earth, this little dot right here in the middle of this black square. Keep that in mind as we watch this solar flare. And this is just one of many that occur in regular cycles. And the reason we're pointing this out now is because the area is going to start coming into rotation and facing Earth, this very active area. And you can see right there. Let me run it back. Again, this is the area. You can see the flare starting to come out here. There it goes. And just some data as far as the potential impacts of the radiation charges, even though that wasn't facing us. So we'll keep an eye on that to make sure that we know in advance if and when that something along those magnitudes are heading towards us. And we end with a reminder, there's going to be a fish fry awareness campaign. It's going to be August the 6th. It's coming up here in just a few days from 4 to 8 p.m. on Minnesota Avenue and Good Hope Road Southeast. And that is in the DMV area, the Delaware, Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. It's raising awareness for justice for GMJ.com. And also going to be a tribute for Jalen Walker. Their entertainment's going to be provided by DJ One out of New York City. Going to be a fish fry. They'll have snow cone machines, bouncy houses, something for the whole family if you're in that area and you want to help raise awareness for what is happening with Grandmaster Jay and be a part of a tribute for Jalen Walker. So, a lot of things to think about in a short amount of time. And as always, we'll keep an eye on all of this. We'll be back for another episode very shortly. So hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll know when we're on. And if you haven't seen it, go back and watch the episode where we kind of discuss how movements like this are impacting our democracy, how they're devaluing things that many people in the United States do hold dear. There's a link and click on it and give it a watch. As always, thank you so very much for your time, for your subscriptions, for your donations. If you'd like to donate, Cashapp, AmericanDufus, AmericanDufus, all one word. If you'd like to email, AmericanDufus@gmail.com. Once again, hit the subscribe, hit the notification, and we will be back with another episode very soon. This has been something to think about on the American Doofus channel. Thanks for watching.